Britain's second largest PFI contractor, Carillion, has gone bust after Theresa May's government decided not to bail out this particular private sector PFI contractor with taxpayers' money, which the government deemed to be too small to bail, unlike the £4 trillion of banking sector liability bailouts of 2008 and 2009 that the people of Britain are still paying the price for some 9 years on in terms of loss of purchasing power of real term earnings as a consequence of inflating the money supply of asset prices through quantitative easing of over £500 billion and through a myriad of additional asset price boosting schemes such as funding for lending. Nevertheless, the government refused to bail out Carillion that holds some 400 PFI contracts totaling more than £16 billion. Though this does not mean that any of the other loss-making, highly indebted, teetering on the brink PFI contractors with costs spiralling out of control would not be bailed out to prevent a systemic collapse of the whole sector, bringing many public works to a shuddering standstill like HS2. After all, the government, fully aware of Carillion's precarious state only a few months ago, awarded Carillion contracts totaling £1.7 billion in attempts at keeping the corporation afloat. So, just like Northern Rock of 2007 and Lehman Brothers of 2008, the first to collapse rarely tends to get bailed out. Instead, it tends to be the next dozen that follow, as occurred with Britain's banking sector bailouts. Furthermore, the banking sector was found to awarding billions in bonuses on the basis of fictitious profits, and so it remains to be seen if the same has transpired with the PFI sector. Therefore, expect investigations into the collapse of Carillion to likely reveal dubious practices in the PFI sector. Therefore, just because Carillion, holder of 16 billion of PFI contracts across the UK, was not bailed out, does not mean the same would not be true if any of the other PFI contract holders went bust, given the fact that the total of outstanding PFI liabilities exceeds £220 billion by the likes of Amey, Jarvis, Connaught, Rock, G4S, Balfour Beatty, Serco, Mitie and so on. Given the size of contracts held, for instance, Amey is the holder of a £2.2 billion contract for the city of Sheffield alone, let alone the value of contracts for the rest of the UK, which are estimated at more than £10 billion. Whilst many may argue that Carillion was a special case, but the reality is, in terms of published accounts, Carillion's profits and turnover were deemed to be one of the better performing PFI contractors before the recent profit warnings. For instance, banking profits of 155 million against a loss of 200 million for the sector giant Balfour Beatty, whilst the likes of Amey trail with a loss of 26.5 million on turnover of 2.5 billion. As is usually the case, the crippling factor is debt. Where Carillion's demise is concerned, that debt was as a consequence of spiralling costs and growing pensions liabilities, which are the hallmark of PFI contractors and other corporations at risk of bankruptcy. Debt and pensions liabilities are literally the corporate ticking time bombs under the hood of many major corporations, from giant retailers such as Tesco to the PFI contractors such as Carillion and dozens more in the PFI sector. And where Amey is concerned, the unintended consequences of what is taking place on the streets of Sheffield, that on a near daily basis sees vast resources deployed to fell street trees that are met by resistance in the form of protest to prevent the felling of street trees, resulting in costs spiralling out of control that foretells the crisis that Sheffield's PFI contractor is potentially facing. For no corporation can turn a profit on a contract that requires upwards of 30 personnel to be deployed to fell a single street tree. the cost of which could easily exceed £10,000 in resources committed per day for just to attempt to fell a single street tree. One of the inherent flaws at the heart of PFI contracts is the lack of accountability between PFI contractors, who remain focused on the terms of their contracts rather than what the people of cities such as Sheffield actually want, resulting in unelected entities dictating what should happen to their streets that ultimately escalates into direct action, peaceful protests which sends costs spiralling out of control to far beyond any of the financial projections made at the time the contracts were first signed.
How about we move you?
Nope.
No? Come on. What's the point in doing this?
I'm not here to have a moral conversation with you. You're a copper. Do what you're supposed to do.
Exactly. Why?
And this further illustrates what is happening on Sheffield streets, of why PFI contracts are going bad as costs soar, sending contractors into losses and debt due to penalties for failure to meet contractual liabilities that pushes the likes of Carillion into bankruptcy.
Do it again, okay, and I'm telling you, all of you, to move. If you don't, I can use force or arrest you.
Go on then.
Okay.
You get off me! You get off me!
Yeah.
Right, you got this? Have you got this? Handcuffed?
We're under arrest for obstruction of the highway. You don't have to say anything on defence. You don't answer a question. And if you do say anything, don't get back.
And there's all the bright light, we protect them.
You lost your temper by every chance.
Are you alright, Flaps? For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. Let's go say all of us.
So you have the right to assault me.
That was assault, was it?
Yeah, grab hold of me. Assault.
So you can grab hold of me?
So you're also under arrest for common assault.
You
say anything on defence or eventual questions.
I've been arrested for assault.
There you go.
That's ridiculous.
Been arrested for assault.
Get in the car.
Been arrested for assault.
Get in the car. Get in the car.
No assault. We all saw.
There was no assault, we saw no assault. It's unreasonable.
Do you all have
There was
copies?
no assault.
There was no assault.
Thank you very much.
278.
We have it all on video. So if I'd like, we can seize all these cameras.
Well, we'll see what it comes out in court.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see if DP wants anything to do with that. You won't get that anywhere.
I think you could have done that job without the level of force or level or claiming arrest.
What way?
If you claimed assault, I don't think that was really necessary, I suspect.
It's common assault. Yes, if I touch you or you touch me and I don't want it, it's unwarranted. It's common assault. I had a lawful reason. You're obstructing the highway and I had him under arrest.
He can't help touching you if you're close to him, can he?
Sorry. If he's under arrest, does it give him the right to assault me or touch me in any way?
Hang on.
Okay, I'm trying to do my job.
Hang on.
So you now need to leave because you're now obstructing me because I'm going to drive out. So you need to
move out the way of the car, please. Onto the pavement, please. Onto the pavement, please, so you don't cause any more obstruction. We know our rights. Hey, what's this?
You understand we have to begin with as much as we can.
Thank you.
But would you do something for us? Would you tell anyone that's in charge of all this operation that this is absolutely absurd?
They've already said that. They've been told not to get involved.
And will you tell them? Will you tell them?
First of all, obstructing the highway, assault the police officer. Okay.
Mate. That's why I've been arrested.
You guys are all sorting all right, aren't you? Yeah, all right.
Wasting the time with the paperwork on that assault. Wasting time. Waste the police resource. Yes.
Can we lift it down? Trying to arrest a French boy.
The bottom line is, Carillion may be the first major PFI contractor to go bust, but it won't be the last due to the inherent flaws of rigid PFI contracts that are not able to adapt to what the people of Britain's largest cities actually want, which is the reason why elected bodies such as local city councils came into existence in the first place, so as to express the settled will of the people, against which PFI contracts spanning 25 years or more effectively result in the outsourcing of local democracy to a deaf, dumb and blind PFI contractor that is wholly focused on the terms of the signed contract rather than what the people actually want to take place in their cities. Watch this space for the next big PFI contractor to go bust.
Hello everybody, thanks for coming. We are the Lorats. We speak for the trees, and I'd like to say a few words, if you please, regarding the story that you're about to see. It actually happened, just take it from me. But there's more to this story than what's on the page, so please pay attention whilst I set the stage. We opened in Sheffield, a city they say that was made of steel and coal, and they liked it that way. In a town hall without nature, no one living green, so what happened to our trees? Cue the music, let's see.
Nice seat, that boy.
What?
Amey cut the gun. Amey cut the gun.
And now Amey have gone, and they have only managed to cut down one healthy tree.
with the Christmas lights the night before Amey came.
I want to know why you've asked me to leave, under what law? I don't know.
You got the hospice trees this morning. Big man, you must have felt big this morning. Dying people.
Can you please tell me why you're asking me to leave? This is my street, I live on it. We voted democratically to keep the trees.
You'll be on the news again, lads. At least you can finish early, you can spend the night doing that.
I live here, you don't.
No, that's not a good idea. I'm on the highway, I'm perfectly legal, I've got every right to stand here.
So are we. We're perfectly legal as well.
Yeah, I'm on the highway, I'm not in any zone. Just stand here, right here.
It's getting very cosy in here.
I know. Stop it! You're hurting me! You're hurting me! You're assaulting us with the barriers!
Excuse me, not quite me.
You are assaulting us with the barriers!
I'm doing what, sorry?
You may not have intended it, but you did. Right, it may have been accidental, I accept. Yeah. But you're hurting this lady with the barriers.
What are you doing now? She's pushing it out. Just pushing them out.
You're hurting me! You're hurting me! Look, let me fill my feet. They're pressing this barrier against us, and they're hurting my feet. Stop it! You don't have a zone yet. We have every right to be here. Stop hurting me.
Am I touching? Am I touching you? Am I touching you?
Am I
touching you? I'm not touching you.
Well, stop it.
I'm not touching you.
Don't push the barrier.
Okay.
You're finding one on the top. I'm on the public highway. Yes, I am. It's a public highway. All the trees. Right, but I don't want to. Not happy.
Sir, you're inside our highway. No, sir, you're inside our highway.
Go away.
No, sir.
Go away.
I will not go away, sir. You're inside.
Press up.
You're inside our area, sir.
No, I'm not.
This
I'm
is
outside your area.
No, you're in our area. You're inside the tape. You're inside the tape.
Go on.
Thank you, sir. Please, sir. You're off the wall because you're actually trespassing.
That's assault.
You are hurting my leg. You're the guy's Jarvis. Please don't sit on my wall. I'm not going to help you.
Don't need to use any force. Just.
Really not fair. Don't hurt him.
Don't hurt him.
Don't hurt him.
Stand up and walk slowly.
Don't hurt him.
I'm not hurting him. Assault! 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 You're on camera! You're on camera!
We know that, mate.
You're on camera!
For obstructing.
Your camera doesn't care. It doesn't matter if you don't show it to anybody.
Well, I think it does, mate.
Assault! Multiple assaults, yeah. These are SIA approved people apparently, assaulting members of the public on the public highway. It's a common law. This is how Sheffield City Council treats its citizens. I was clarifying. If this isn't intimidation of the public, I don't know what you think it is. You're supposed to be an observer, which is supposed to be neutral now.
That's observing, isn't
You reckon on behalf of a local authority you should be neutral? You're a public servant. Why do you keep cutting trees, my friend? Try and do that better than what you're doing. This is a public highway, has a right to walk down it. It's a right to walk down it. You've not got a right to block his way, have you?
Who's blocking his way?
That man there. Back there. I've got it on film. It's filmed. You can't lie, can you? It's illegal to be a member of the public in Sheffield. Assault! 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 Assault!
He's walking in the woods.
He's assaulting him now on the public highway. What are you kicking him for?
Yeah, that was a big one.
And this big one was also moved today. We speak for the trees, and the tree campaigners have succeeded in stopping Amey from cutting down the big tree on Millhouses Lane for the whole of this week. Cute. Say it. Let's go. And this is Millie on the 9th of December, the day after Amey came. and felled the big tree on Millhouses Lane.